It started in the streets, on corners, in basements, on borrowed mics with broken beats. A voice for the unheard, a rhythm for the restless. It's global, louder than ever, streaming across continents, chart-topping, genre-bending, culture-defining. These are the new voices, the digital poets of a generation raised on hustle, hashtags, and heartbreak. They're not waiting for a seat at the table. They're building their own. This is more than music. This is a movement. This is hip-hop.
Did you ever think we'd be at the Super Bowl with this?
I wasn't thinking about no Super Bowl.
You never thought about the Super Bowl
I wasn't
with
thinking
this?
about no Super Bowl for sure.
Mustard on a beat, bro, any rap, he a freak, man down, color ember lamps, tell him breathe.
Kendrick Lamar's journey from Compton to global superstardom is a testament to the power of authenticity. In a time when hip-hop needed a revival, Lamar answered the call, not just with music, but with a message that resonated worldwide. In the early 2020s, hip-hop faced a crisis of authenticity. Mainstream rap often prioritized catchy hooks over meaningful content. Enter the Kendrick versus Drake feud that has been a defining moment in modern hip-hop, showcasing the genre's power to influence culture and spark conversations about artistry. The release of Not Like Us in May 2024 was a game-changer. The track not only dominated charts but also swept all 5 of its Grammy nominations, including Record of the Year and Song of the Year, and his album GNX marked a pivotal moment in the genre's resurgence. Kendrick has consistently learned and evolved with every project he's released, which is why he stands today as one of the most influential and trending artists in hip-hop. Kendrick Lamar Duckworth, born on June 17, 1987 in Compton, California, is a critically acclaimed American rapper, songwriter, and record producer. Widely regarded as one of the greatest rappers of his generation, Kendrick has been praised for his lyrical depth, storytelling, and ability to address complex social issues through music.
This is their record, a dinner Howard had, her fans too impressive. Rolling, hurling, skirt 'em, posing, put silvers golden. New York, let's go with. I think that I'm feeling the vibe. I see the love in her eye. I see the feeling of freedom is ready. As soon as the damage of vodka rhyme. This is you capitalize. This improvement to revive. Apparently, over influence from what you were doing. I thought I was doing. I'm supposed to be.
Kendrick grew up in a tough environment shaped by gang culture, though he largely stayed out of trouble, focusing instead on school and music. He was deeply inspired by artists like Tupac Shakur, Dr. Dre, and Eminem. At age 16, he released his first mixtape under the name K-Dot, which garnered local attention and led to a deal with Top Dog Entertainment, TDE.
A lot of people don't see like the story before the glory, man. And that shit's like shuffling out your mixtapes and, you know, going to neighborhoods and parties and performing there, hole-in-the-wall spots. It reminds me of the essence and the core response of rap and hip-hop and how far it can go. So for me, that should mean everything because it puts the culture on the forefront where it needs to be and not minimized to just a catchy song or verse. This is a true art form.
Kendrick Lamar's first studio album, Section 80, released on July 2, 2011, marked a pivotal moment in modern hip-hop and in Kendrick's ascent from underground prodigy to cultural voice. Though not his first project, he had previously released several mixtapes and an acclaimed EP. Section 80 was Kendrick's debut studio album under Top Dog Entertainment, TDE. The album was independently released but widely praised for its thematic depth and maturity, especially considering Kendrick was only in his early 20s at the time. Good Kid, Mad City was released in 2012, Kendrick's second album and his breakout major label debut. It proved Kendrick was not only a skilled rapper but a thought leader, setting the tone for a career driven by purpose, poetry, and political awareness. subtitled A Short Film by Kendrick Lamar. Good Kid, Mad City album functions as a concept album chronicling a day, or a few days, in the life of a young Kendrick growing up in Compton, California. It blends autobiographical storytelling with a cinematic structure, diving into themes like peer pressure, gang violence, family, faith, and identity. The album tells a cohesive story. Kendrick plays a version of himself, nicknamed K-Dot, navigating teenage life in Compton. Voicemail skits from his parents, recurring themes, and callbacks to earlier tracks make the entire album feel like a movie. In 2012, hip-hop was brimming with stars, but no one expected the quiet kid from Compton to deliver an album that would become an instant classic. A cinematic journey through a city painted in trauma, temptation, and spiritual resilience. Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City was more than just a debut. It was a memoir, a parable, a love letter, and a warning. Standout tracks like Shireen, aka Master Splinter's daughter. The story begins with lust and risk. A young Kendrick lured across town to meet a girl with hidden dangers. The Art of Peer Pressure, a chilling ride-along with Kendrick and his friends, where one wrong move could lead to tragedy. Money Trees, a dreamlike escape into what life could be if only the hustle paid off. Mad City, an explosive retelling of Compton's dual realities, the mental scars of violence and the crack epidemic's legacy. And Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, an 11-minute reflection on death, faith, and the desire to leave something meaningful behind. Every song feeds into a larger narrative, a teenager searching for identity, trying to stay sane in an environment built to break him. Kendrick doesn't glorify the streets, he humanizes them. At the center of Good Kid, Mad City is a young man at war with two forces, his environment and his inner demons. The Good Kid is Kendrick, thoughtful, spiritual, reserved. But the MAD City, an acronym that stands for both My Angry Adolescents Divided and Menacing Angels at Destruction, is unforgiving, seductive, and dangerous. This is the duality Kendrick faces, and the duality every young black man in America is forced to reconcile. Faith is woven throughout the album, not just as salvation, but as resistance. Kendrick's mother and father appear in voicemails, comedic at first, but increasingly emotional. The final skit culminates in a prayer of redemption, offered to a group of friends after a near-death experience. It's in this prayer that the transformation begins, from Kendrick the boy to Kendrick the prophet. Kid, Mad City debuted at number 2 on the Billboard charts, but its impact went far beyond sales. It was hailed as an instant classic, drawing comparisons to Illmatic and The Chronic. It went triple platinum. It stayed on the Billboard 200 for over a decade, but more importantly, it gave a generation a mirror and a map. Good Kid, Mad City was a time capsule, but it was also a prophecy. The world would never look at Compton or hip-hop the same way again. On August 13th, 2013, the internet stopped. Radios buzzed, Twitter exploded, and hip-hop, already decades deep in evolution, felt something it hadn't felt in a long time. Fear, excitement, challenge. Because on that day, a verse by Kendrick Lamar was unleashed. Control, a track meant for Big Sean's Hall of Fame album, never even made the final cut. But one guest verse turned a shelved song into a legendary moment. That verse didn't belong to the headliner. It belonged to Kendrick Lamar. No hook, no chorus, just bars, aggression, names, real names. In under 3 minutes, Kendrick broke every unspoken rule of the modern rap game. He called out his peers, not with disrespect, but with a competitor's heart. He called out Big Sean, Jermaine Cole, Drake, and many more. The fallout was instant. Overnight, the verse became hip-hop's litmus test. Rappers who weren't even named jumped to respond. It wasn't just music, it was war.
Hey man, what do you think about Kendrick Lamar putting everybody on blast in Big Sean's new song? Yo, French, can I get some?
I feel like everybody got entitled to their own opinion.
Do you think it'll hurt people working with him in the future or no?
I just feel like, that's how he's feeling right now.
Is there etiquette for blasting people in rap songs?
Man, it's hip-hop, man. You never know. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like, it takes time, you know what I'm saying? Like, for you to be king, you gotta be like, it takes 14, 15 hours.
What's your take on Kendrick Lamar's comment and calling everybody out, putting everybody on blast?
Kendrick Lamar being from Compton, like, I give him mad respect. I'm being from LA also. I like to see the movement that he's created. But as far as, like, homie's killing it in New York. I seen his shows in New York, and New York's, it's popping. So who can say anything to Kendrick? Like, I don't necessarily agree with stepping out right away, but if that's the way you feel, then fuck the world. That's the way you feel. And that's the way you want to you want to put it out to people, then that's it. Do it. You know what I'm saying? Freedom of speech, and more than anybody, you're a hip-hop artist, you can say whatever the fuck you want. If you feel like you're the king and you felt like that in that moment, then cool. And if anybody's got backlash, which everybody does, then answer. And if your show sell out more than Kendrick, then go talk to Kendrick and figure out what you're doing wrong, because no matter what you say, homeboy's making more bread than you, so.
Amid social unrest, protests, and the echoing chants of a generation demanding justice, Kendrick Lamar released his third studio album that would rupture the boundaries of hip-hop and redefine what it meant to tell the truth in music. To Pimp a Butterfly wasn't just a follow-up to a classic, it was a manifesto, a symphony, a sermon, a war cry. Crafted over 3 intense years, To Pimp a Butterfly was the culmination of Kendrick's personal evolution. He had seen success with Good Kid, Mad City, but now fame was a new kind of battlefield and Kendrick was ready to fight. From the first track, Wesley's Theory, Kendrick makes it clear, this isn't a rap album. It's funk, it's jazz, it's spoken words, it's Afrobeat. With collaborators like Thundercat, George Clinton, Flying Lotus, Terrace Martin, and Kamasi Washington, Kendrick constructs a sonic collage that stretches the very definition of hip-hop. Tracks like All Right became anthems, not just for the radio but for the streets, for Black Lives Matter protests, for a generation asking, will we ever be all right? But To Pimp a Butterfly isn't just rally cries, it's introspection. On the 6th track, You, Lamar turns the mirror on himself, exposing insecurities, depression, survivor's guilt. Then, on the 15th track, he reclaims self-love, not as luxury, but as necessity. On the 16th track, Mortal Man, it closes with a fictional conversation between Kendrick and Tupac, a surreal moment where past and present collide in search of answers still out of reach. In a world still wrestling with race, power, and truth, Kendrick Lamar's masterpiece reminds us, the butterfly is beautiful, but first, it had to crawl. At the 58th Annual Grammy Awards, Kendrick Lamar led all artists with 11 nominations, the most by any rapper in a single year since Michael Jackson in 1984, and he took home 5 Grammys.
Through all the pain, and hardship, losing family members, losing homeboys, for some reason we always still love Compton because we had faith. So before I even wrote We Gon' Be Alright, that's what we singing since day one. I appreciate everyone out here, and please believe me, it will not stop. This is just the spark of everything.
In the spring of 2017, as America wrestled with division, protest, and identity, Kendrick Lamar returned, not as a preacher, not as a prophet, but as a man. Stripped down, focused, furious. His 4th studio album known as Damn. The sound, raw, minimal, trap drums, haunting samples, and moments of silence heavy with implication. Producers like Mike Will Made It, Soundwave, The Alchemist, and even U2 helped shape a world that was simultaneously present and ancient. The lead single, Humble, exploded into the mainstream, a chart-topping anthem and a lyrical takedown. It wasn't just a hit, it was a challenge. Damn debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and stayed there for 3 non-consecutive weeks. It went triple platinum, spawning hits like Loyalty, with Rihanna, Love, with Zakari, and the ferocious DNA. Kendrick Lamar became the first non-classical, non-jazz artist to win the Pulitzer Prize for Music, a recognition typically reserved for orchestras and operas. Everything was going very well for Kendrick, but then he suddenly vanished. For 5 years, Kendrick Lamar retreated from the spotlight. No albums, no interviews, rare public appearances. In an era dominated by oversharing, he chose silence. But that silence wasn't emptiness, it was incubation. In the years that followed, Kendrick became a myth. Rumors swirled. Some claimed he had left music. Others said he was crafting a masterpiece. His only public footprint came in 2021 through a quiet but loaded letter posted to his new company's website. Signed Oklama, it marked the birth of a new persona, part philosopher, part confessor. It also marked the end of an era, his final project under Top Dog Entertainment, the label that made him a star. During this silence, Kendrick had been building something new. PG Long, a mysterious multidisciplinary company co-founded with longtime collaborator Dave Free. Not just a label, but a platform for storytelling across music, film, and technology. In 2021, Kendrick broke his musical silence with a volcanic feature on Baby Keem's Family Ties. The verse was raw, unfiltered, a warning shot. Kendrick was coming, changed. Then, on May 13, 2022, his first album in 5 years, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. It was deeply personal, therapeutic, and complex, grappling with generational trauma, fame, fatherhood, therapy, and accountability. It reinforced his role as one of hip-hop's most introspective and socially aware artists. The Big Steppers tour was one of the highest-grossing rap tours ever, showing that Kendrick's influence isn't just critical. He's a box office draw too. Kendrick has reached an artistic tier that a few rappers attain, comparable to figures like Tupac or Bob Dylan in terms of societal commentary. His victory lap isn't about partying, it's about self-awareness, healing, and redefining Black masculinity and success. For over a decade, Drake and Kendrick Lamar stood atop the rap game. Two giants. One, a genre-bending hitmaker from Toronto. The other, a Pulitzer-winning poet from Compton. Respectful rivals, until they weren't. The rivalry began when Kendrick Lamar's verse on Big Sean's Control called out several rappers, including Drake. Drake dismissed it as an ambitious thought, but the tension simmered beneath the surface. On October 6th, Drake and J. Cole released First Person Shooter, referencing the big three of hip-hop. This sparked debates among fans about the top spot in rap. Kendrick responded on Future and Metro Boomin's track Like That, where he declared himself the true leader of the big three, challenging both Drake and J. Cole. This marked the beginning of the renewed feud and shattered world of hip-hop. On April 19th, Drake released tracks Push Ups and Tailor Made Freestyle, which mocks and rejects Lamar's claimed artistic authenticity. Drake also uses AI-generated vocals imitating Tupac and Snoop Dogg to pressure Kendrick into responding. On April 30th, 2024, Kendrick finally released Euphoria. The song was released on YouTube without any prior promotion and appeared on all streaming services a few hours after, a nearly 7-minute track that criticized Drake's confidence and self-image. The feud intensified when Kendrick released 616 in LA on the same day, where he mocked Drake's online persona and insinuated that OVO members were secretly working for him. On May 3rd, Drake responds with tracks with Family Matters and Buried Alive interlude, which accuses Kendricks of domestic violence towards his fiancée and alleges that his child was fathered by his general manager Dave Free. On the Grams, a scathing letter addressed to Drake's family, accusing him of being an absent father and running a sex trafficking ring. The song received widespread critical acclaim for its raw and unfiltered take on family life, and on the same day Kendrick's Not Like Us was released. And it became a cultural phenomenon, breaking streaming records and earning 5 Grammy Awards, including Song of the Year. The track accused Drake of inappropriate relationships with underage women, leading to a defamation lawsuit filed by Drake against Universal Music Group.
What should people expect to see and understand about Sunday's performance?
Storytelling. I think I've always been very open about storytelling through all my catalog and my history of music. And I've always had a passion about bringing that on whatever stage I'm on, you know, whether it's a war tour or whether it's 500 people at Key Club. I've always had a form of that. So I like to always carry on that sense of, you know, make people listen, but also see and think a little.
Kendrick's victory lap extended further with his surprise 6th studio album GNX in the fall of 2024, and Kendrick performing at the Super Bowl. Kendrick Lamar became the first solo hip-hop artist to headline the Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show, delivering a performance that would resonate for years to come. Actor Samuel L. Jackson made a surprise appearance, dressed as Uncle Sam, delivering a satirical monologue that set the tone for the evening's performance. The performance featured all black backup dancers dressed in red, white, and blue outfits, forming a giant American flag, underscoring themes of unity and identity. A pivotal moment came with the performance of Not Like Us, a track originally known for its pointed critique of Drake. In the Super Bowl setting, the song evolved into an anthem of cultural pride, with the live audience passionately chanting along. Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show was more than just a musical performance. It was a cultural milestone that redefined the possibilities of the Super Bowl stage.
For me, I love being present. I love being present, man. It's my favorite. It's very hard for me to live in the past. It's very hard. I respect the past wholeheartedly, but being in the now and being just locked into how I feel and the energy I have now, that's the LA energy for me. That's something that I want to carry over to New Orleans and for the world to see. This is me, this is Kendrick Lamar, 37 years old, and I still feel like I'm elevating. I'm still on the journey though, you know? And I want that energy to, you know, ooze out into the televisions and to the people that's in that building.
Kendrick Lamar is known not just for his technical skills, but for his influence on hip-hop's evolution, combining lyrical brilliance with activism and philosophical thought. His work often challenges listeners to reflect on society, identity, and self-growth, and this is why he remains the most influential hip-hop artist to date.